All right, so look, I'm almost at 6 figures in my third account, so I wanted to give you guys some tips on how to properly build a solid financial foundation.
Here are 5 things I did at 18 to be financially stable at 23.
I became financially free right before the age of 25. I started at this company with a base salary of $37K, and I was able to still pay off loans, budget, save.
I really hate not being able to just get up and go. Like, I wish I was just financially free. I wish I was really financially stable. I could just get up and go to anywhere I want to go, buy anything I want, and be comfortable. Like, I hate that I have to think about a bill or look at my bank account or just manipulate myself to think like, oh, you don't need it right now, or with that, how much that ticket costs, you can go ahead and pay a bill with that. Like, I always manipulate myself and make me change my mind with everything. Like, I really cannot wait to be financially stable to the point that I have no worries in the world. And I really don't even try to worry so much because stress can really kill you. But sometimes I be overdoing it. But I just know sooner than later, I'm going to be financially free, financially stable, like free of all worries and stress.
I didn't realize that I was literally eating my money. By the time I was 27, I had no savings. My account was overdrawing all the time from overspending. I had maxed out and closed the one credit card that I owned. I'm breaking down the 7 steps that took me from that situation to now bills on auto pay, emergency fund fully funded, retirement and investments accounts all in order, and I get to give myself experiences that I used to only dream of. So step 1 was figuring out where my money was going. I didn't realize that I was literally eating my money. I was spending hundreds of dollars on takeout. You need to get out of autopilot and start consciously telling your money where to go. Step 2 is living below your means. I was actually pretty good about keeping my rent low by having roommates, but I was definitely overspending in some other areas. Number 3 was savings. I started by saving my first 1,000, then a month worth of expenses, then 3 months, then 6 months to now where I am. Number 4, increasing your income, because at some point you just need more money. Until you reach the salary that gives you the lifestyle you want, you need to be moving up or out every 2 to 3 years. And if that's not possible for you, try finding other streams of income. I babysat and did Uber Eats, even though I was on TV every single day. Step 5, highest interest debt. For me, that was my car. When I bought it, that car was worth $9,000. And if I was to stay on the finance schedule, I would have paid more than $22,000 for it. Step 6, implementing systems. I used a zero-based budget template until I built the habit. I stopped treating my bill due dates like suggestions. My savings and my retirement are all automated. And I use 6 different accounts that help me keep my money separated. Step 7, actively working on your money mindset. It wasn't until I started making a livable wage that I realized that I had a problem. I'm still not where I want to be, but I've learned a lot, and I did that through reading, listening to podcasts, talking to people who do have their money in order, and building routines and systems that help me break the habit.
Here are 5 things I did at 18 to be financially stable at 23. If you're new here, my name is Lillian, and I help level up your career and finances, so if that interests you, then drop a follow. I was a business major at UC Berkeley, and when I got to college, I made sure to gain as much internship experience as possible. I did a total of 4 internships in college, and my 4th internship in my junior year summer led to a high-paying full-time role after I graduated. My 4 internships were in consulting, product marketing, and venture capital, and they were all within the tech sector. If you're still in college, I'd recommend getting as much internship experience as possible before you graduate because it's a lot easier to get a full-time job if you have some internship experience. The second thing I did was educating myself on personal finance and learning how to manage my money. If you don't understand how to manage your money, even when you have a job, it's easy to get lost even if you have a lot of money. The third thing I did was open a Roth IRA when I was in college. A Roth IRA is a retirement investment account that you can open at age 18, and it basically allows you to invest money from your internships or your jobs into the account up to $7,000 per year, and it grows tax-free. It's especially beneficial to open this account when you are young because then your money has more time to grow in the market. The 4th thing I did was get a secured credit card. The specific one I got was the Capital One Platinum Secured Card. I got a credit card at 18 in order to build my credit score because credit is super useful when you are older for things like getting a job even, buying a car, and securing an apartment lease. The 5th thing I did was finding other ways to make money besides internships tips and my 9-to-5 job. In college, I had a lot of side hustles, like having an Etsy store where I sold my handmade crafts, doing part-time work for clients, and in my senior year, I started doing content creation, which led me to doing a UGC and brand deals. Not only has this helped me create extra savings, but it's also helped me become a lot more disciplined, and it inspires me to shoot higher.
All right, so look, I'm almost at 6 figures in my third account, so I wanted to give you guys some tips on how to properly build a solid financial foundation. So let's get into it. All right, so step number 1 is going to be to cut your spending. Before you can grow your money, you have to stop wasting it. Cut unnecessary spending and live below your means, especially if we're headed into a recession. The goal isn't to be cheap, but it's to be intentional with your money. And if you can't control what you have now, making more money is not going to fix the problem. So step 2 is going to be to save some money before you start aggressively paying off debt. All it takes is one emergency, medical bills, job loss, or something with your car, and you're right back into debt. So instead, build an emergency fund. Start with $1,000 and then aim for 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. Now, while you're saving, still pay your debt, but pay what's going to allow you to save some money. The minimum payment at the very least. So step number 3, once you have a good amount of money saved up, now we can start paying off the debt aggressively. So stop making the minimum payments, pick a strategy, whether it's the snowball method or the avalanche method, and get to it. And trust me, the faster you pay off the debt, the more freedom you're going to have. Now, step 4, keep your emergency savings separate from your home or investment savings. So look, now that we've paid off some debt, now we can start investing. Now we can start talking about buying a home. But this is where a lot of people mess up. Your emergency fund is not for investing. It's not for buying a home. It's not for making big moves. It's strictly for emergencies. If you want to invest, if you want to buy a home, create a separate savings account for that, because mixing the two can put you at risk. Return on investments aren't guaranteed, and you don't want to empty your savings on a home or everything that comes with a home. Step 5 is going to be to maximize your income. Now, I probably should have made this number 1 and number 2, but look, saving is great, but you can only cut back so much. At some point, the key to financial freedom is going to be making more money, whether that's asking for a raise, switching to a higher paying job, starting a side hustle, or just investing your money into something that grows your income. The more you earn, the faster you're going to reach financial freedom. But look, building a solid financial foundation is a journey. It's not overnight, so don't put too much pressure on yourself. Get organized, create a plan of attack, and take it one day at a time.
Here are the only money rules that I follow as a financially responsible person with a 6-figure net worth who is trying to be work optional when I turn 40. Last one is my favorite. Number 1, I always pay myself first. Every single time my paycheck hits my account, I would transfer immediately. It's automatic. I have timed it every bi-weekly. That transfer from my savings, the paycheck going in, comes out right away into my investments. This is to ensure that I'm always thinking about the future me instead of just thinking about present me. I've been doing this for the past 4 years and it is game changing. This method of paying myself first not only helped me max out on my tax advantage accounts such as TFSA, RSP, FHSA, and it also allowed me to start contributing to the 4th account, which is a regular cash investment account. The second rule is that part of my weekend routine, I would always take time, an hour a week, even less, sometimes just 20 minutes, to track my expenses. I will always sit down and do my budget every single Sunday. This habit that I built over the years has helped me ground myself in my spending habits, my spending trends, what did I spend on and why, and help me do that weekly reflection before going into the next. Doing my habit every single week not only helped me set up the mindset of living intentionally, but it also gave me the ability to actually see and track how my financial goals are progressing throughout the week. Rule number 3, whenever I want to buy something or I need to buy something, I buy in quality, not quantity. That is pretty self-explanatory. I don't want to just find the cheapest option and just go with that on impulse. I want to find the best quality of whatever I want to buy and see a future into using that and not just using it and neglecting it for the rest of my life. I would rather just buy it once and use it for years than buy it 5 times and buy it cheap. Because at the end of the day, the cheaper version, buying 5 times probably costs more than buying it once, more expensive. The 4th rule is I've promised myself to diversify my income. I will never rely on just one income stream, which I have been relying on for the past 7 years, ever since I started working corporate, and also all my part-time jobs. That's what I was relying on, just one stream of income, that job. And whenever that job disappears, I get laid off, I get fired, anything happens, that's it. It's over. I'm scrambling. I don't want to be in that position. So in order to not be in that position, I've been building for the past year my different income streams, just so that I don't ever have to just rely on my 9 to 5. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and follow for more.
I became financially free right before the age of 25. I started at this company with a base salary of $37K, and I was able to still pay off loans, budget, save, and set myself up for financial success. So these are a few things that I follow. Number 1, I've always treated my credit card like a debit card. I do not spend money that I do not have. That is so important. Number 2, I have always lived within the means of the salary that I'm making. So when I was making $37K, I was living with 3 roommates, paying $800 in rent. I was packing my lunch for work every day. I rode the bus into work, and I prioritized first my living expenses, food and my rent or insurance, anything like that. Secondly, I would prioritize paying off my student loan. So I graduated with about $50,000 in student debt, and that was where my second payment would go. And then any money left over, I would transfer to a savings account, and I would try for the life of me to not touch. And then lastly, something that I think really set me up for financial freedom is once I started making more money, I tried as much as possible to not increase how much I was spending. And so once you start making more money, continue to live at that baseline and then take all that extra money that you're making and put it into your savings account. It does take a lot of discipline, it takes intention behind your money, but it is so.
I never taught you how money actually works. This series is for you. Welcome to Road to Riches, a beginner series on all things building wealth and financial literacy for the girls. Now, as a finance professional, I can tell you how wealthy people actually think, structure their money, and make decisions, because money is not luck, it's systems. The truth is, most people don't struggle with money because they're bad with numbers. They struggle because they never built a foundation. Before the aesthetics, before the soft life, before investing, you need structure. So if you're starting from scratch, your money foundation should look like this. First, control your cash flow. You need to know what comes in, what goes out, and where it's leaking. No awareness equals no wealth. Avoidance is expensive. 2, build safety before status. This means emergency fund first, okay? Always prioritize stability before aesthetics. Your peace is the real luxury. 3, you want to automate your future. Savings, investments, retirement. Wealthy people do not rely on motivation, okay? They rely on systems. So automate, automate, automate. Lastly then, and only then, start investing. Simple, hands-off, long-term, think index funds, okay? Wealth is boring on purpose. Don't underestimate the power of consistency. Small habits compound over time. Remember, a rich girl isn't reckless, she's intentional. She understands that money is a tool for her freedom, options, and independence. So if you want to become financially literate and unrecognizable this year, hop in and follow along. We're on the road to riches.
I'm about to give you the play-by-play. If you're a young single man, no kids, no nothing on how to be financially stable, you might not like it, but lock in. Listen, you need to have one stable job with a stable schedule. That needs to be your first priority. I don't care what it is either, bro. Let all that prideful shit go. I tell you all the time, I'm a janitor. My dad owns a company for my W-2 job. Me and my brother own a commercial cleaning and hoarder clean out and biohazardous waste removal company. But at the end of the day, I'm a janitor, okay? So whatever that job is for you, you need to be trying your hardest. Your first priority needs to be getting a big boy job. There's things you can do quickly in the grand scheme of things. When I say quickly, I mean a few months of certifications, is to where you can lock down your big boy job. A lot of people go for those CDLs. I'm not going to say that's a terrible idea. It's just not the best, depending on who you are. Okay, but if you are single, with no kids, no wife, no none of that, that might be the best course of action for you. Number 2, there's always the military. Number 3, you can go get your phlebotomy license or whatever that shit is in like a week. You can do your insurance license shit quick. I'm talking about less than a month. Security, you could go get different security clearances and in a month and get you a job. What I'm trying to say is you need to find yourself a solid job is to where your paychecks can be $1,500 or more every 2 weeks. That is a little bit of money. I'm not going to lie to you, but it works fine for what I'm trying to tell y'all. So you got your 9 to 5, your Monday through Friday, or whatever, your 5 days a week. Now you have one of 2 options. Find you a nice little side gig, or learn how to make a little money online. And I'm not talking about social media. I'm talking about reselling. I'm talking about offering a service. Start you up a little Fiverr shit. If you're into fitness, start selling your little meal plans, building that. Open up a little LLC. I know in Florida, less than $200. You pay that, got your little LLC, get you a business bank account. Go on any of these lead generation apps. Start you a little junk removal shit. Schedule your shit on the weekends. Rent a U-Haul. You do a job or 2 every weekend. You can get $500 a weekend doing that shit. What I'm trying to say is, especially if you're a young man, no kids, no wife, no real big responsibility other than yourself, You need to be working hard if you don't have a degree or some advanced certification. That is the only way. That is the only way you're going to stack some bread. Okay? I think this week I'm going to do something that's going to help a lot of y'all that I've been saying I'm going to do for a long time. And that's showing y'all step by step how to do this reselling thing. Because it is very easy, but I do understand there's a lot of steps. And I'm talking about eBay, some shit anybody can do. So just be on the lookout for that, because there are a lot of young men who are like, man, you know, I'm trying to be financially stable. I'm trying to, I understand you're going to have to marry the fact that it's going to take a little doing. It's going to take some work, my nigga. If you ain't got that bachelor's, that CDL, that whatever, that tech certificate, whatever, if you ain't put that time in, that trade school, welding, electrician, plumbing, all that, HVAC, if you ain't took the time to go through that shit, those longer processes, then you're going to have to work. And then you're going to have to employ your money. That's what you're going to have to do.
I want to show you how I went from broke as hell, having negative bank accounts, over $10,000 in debt, being stressed and depressed. I only made less than $40,000 a year, and I was a single mom. To now, I'm financially secure and stable. I have 6 months of my expenses saved. I am debt-free. I am a homeowner, and a whole lot more. I paid for my wedding in cash. I have invested, and now I'm going to retire early, etc. The point here is that if I can do this, you can too. I did this prior to ever making this channel or this business, and so let me show you how I did it. There are two main categories here, which are mindset and budgeting. Just stick with me. The mindset piece is probably 80% or more of your journey. It is extremely important. So I had to shift to a mindset of gratitude at all times. And when I would start talking to myself bad or having negative thoughts, I would try to shift immediately to gratitude, and this changed my life. Every time I pay my bills, I say thank you to my money for paying my bills. That's just one example of gratitude. I had to shift from a mindset of lack to a mindset of abundance, not focus on what I didn't have, but focus on what I did have. I had to let go of the victim mentality, and I know this will trigger some people, but it's true. You cannot be a victim to your own life. I had to stop thinking that everything was everybody else's fault, and I had to take accountability for my situation and my actions, and I had to realize that in actuality, I was in control of my situation. This was very actually empowering. I had to train my brain to be my own cheerleader instead of constantly tearing myself down and doing negative self-talk. I had to retrain my brain to cheer myself on and celebrate my accomplishments. I had to constantly tell myself I can do hard things, because things did feel hard in the beginning when I didn't know what I was doing. And I had to remind myself I can do it. I've done things harder than this before. Living in the struggle is hard by itself, and I was surviving that. I can do hard things. And adding one more thing here, consistency, because this is the key. I had to train myself to be consistent, because there are some days where I just wanted to give up and go spend all my money. I had to be consistent with my plans. And the thing about it is, the more consistent I was, the more I began to trust myself and the more progress I made. On the budgeting side, I learned to create zero-based budgets, and this changed the game for me. I learned all about cash stuffing and started doing this religiously, and this really changed my relationship with my money and allowed me to actually see where my money was going and make good plans for it and stick to my plan. I had to learn about emergency funds and start prioritizing my savings, because I learned that whenever you do not prioritize your savings and you don't have savings, you're going to stay in the check-to-check cycle. You're going to stay in the debt cycle. I learned about variable expenses and what that means and how to plan for them. And when you plan for them, you actually have the money for them and you don't have to steal from your other things. I started budgeting only on pen and paper. I stopped using budgeting apps because it's too easy to just disregard the charges. I wanted to get physical with my money, and so always pen and paper for me, even to this day. I created what I now call the MOP method, which is a monthly overview, organized calendar, and paycheck budgets. This allowed me to create plans for my entire month, see them all planned out on a calendar with my paychecks, and then budget my actual paychecks and see the actual amount I was getting paid, so I was budgeting out my real money. Doing it this way gave me plans and goals for the month, and then when I was paid, I could reference this easily, and it helped me create a realistic budget for myself and help me stick to the goals that I set. I also learned that learning about my spending habits was almost one of the most important things of this journey, because it allowed me to create budgets that actually worked and that I could actually stick to, because they allowed me to still enjoy my money and enjoy the things that are important to me while also being able to hit goals. So I could go and eat McDonald's if I wanted to, and I could still hit my savings goal for the month because I built a budget that actually worked. If you made it this far into the video, I'm proud of you, and please let me know in the comments so that I can celebrate you, because just listening to this video is a good step in the right direction. Hopefully, watching this has made you realize that you can do this no matter what your situation is. With time and consistency and good plans, you can change your life and you can take control of your money. Success and wealth and financial security does not happen by accident. It happens intentionally. You have to make plans and stick to them. You can do this. Go on my page. I do have a free training linked on there that you can take, and it should also give you some good tips and help you move forward. You got this, friend.
Some key takeaways that I got from these videos is I need to pay major essential bills first and then pay myself. I don't need to start overspending on any items that I may think I need or want. I definitely need to build an emergency fund and eventually be able to automate that system. I also need to know my cash flow, see how much is coming in and see how much is going out and where it's going. With all these steps, I think we're finally ready to start our financial journey, and we need to start with step 4, building an emergency fund, because that's what's going to really help us stay on track if we have fallback money on when we have issues that come up. So join me in the next video where we learn what it takes to build an emergency fund. See you there.